Hey guys, I'm Janet on occasion, and today we're playing the Total War Warhammer 2 Battle Replay. This one is sent in by RomulanDawg, which is awesome. So another guy from the Ever-Chosen tournament. So, and rather nicely, he's playing the Dark Elves against the Empire, led by JanetOnOccasion of Total Brohammer, who came second in the first Ever-Chosen tournament. So this should be a good idea of, you know, how good these guys are, you know? It should be interesting. So, his front line is very damage dealery. This is scary. This is scary stuff. All anti-infantry bonuses across the board. So, all Black Art Corsairs and Witch Elves. So, pretty much everything infantry is just going to be murdered and rampaged. It's very scary. This is a very formidable front line. And very wide, which is pretty great. Because the thing is, you tend to see a lot of spearmen sort of trying to hold the front lines. For the Empire, so sort of, you know, handgunners and cannons and things can sort of get value. So just having something that's very damage dealer oriented is going to be very interesting. I think that stuff is going to be cut through very quickly, and it should allow him to get into the meat of the army, you know, which is pretty cool. It's good to see. Very interesting. Also, Sinesh's Harvesters, these guys are just deadly. They are so quick. They've got poison. You know, anything like Outriders, they're just going to get caught by Sinesh's Harvesters, which is very scary indeed for the Empire. And a free Soul Stealer and Word of Pain is going to help any dueling scenarios, and it'll get these guys' health back up with the Soul Stealer, as well as dealing a tremendous amount of damage. So I absolutely love Sinesh's Harvesters. They're a really good unit, so love to see them. I think they're a bit of a must in most Empire, not most Empire, most Dark Elf builds, honestly. They're just too good. So also, Cold One Knights, the Cav game is going to be tough. Empire, they do well with the Cav game. They have a lot of heavy Cav, so having some armor piercing and anti-large on these Cold One Knights, they're definitely going to be a lot of help. These are going to be something you need to take out quickly. But then saying that, all this stuff is damage, you know, damage dealers as well, so it's tough. This is a very DPS high army. Also, Malekith hits like an absolute truck. He's a nice small target on that Cold One. So he's not going to get killed by cannons or anything in a hurry, so he'll be pretty formidable. Also, he has a Soul Stealer to get his health back and do a tremendous amount of damage. And he's got a Chill Wind for slowing things down, which is going to be very useful. Being able to slow down Cav to let these guys catch up is going to be pretty essential, I think. The Cold One Knights, they're not the quickest. They're not the quickest at 66. So the Chill Wind will definitely help these guys catch their prey, which is very scary. And also, he has 2 Harpies in the back. So he has one there and one over here, both with a few chevrons as well, just to keep them, you know, fighting a little longer. A nice high melee defense, it definitely helps. And Harpies, of course, you know, they're just great for pinning down gunners and things. So JanetOnOccasion here, he actually has the Sunmaker, which I think is fantastic. I don't know how seriously he was taking this game, because, I don't know, I've never really rated the Sunmaker, but if anyone's going to make it work, it's JanetOnOccasion. His Empire game is pretty superb. So, Spearmen in the front. But he's actually gone with Flagellants and Greatswords, which you don't always see. But the Greatswords are going to do very well against a lot of the stuff in the front line. But I think the Flagellants and Spearmen are going to have a very difficult time at things. Also, you can see there are 3 Handgunners, some really good AP. He's also got Balthazar Gelt on a horse, not in the air, which is interesting. You don't often see him just, you know, on the ground like this. But it's a bit cheaper, and he's still able to outrun most things, so he'll do well. And so he's got nothing but Final Transmutation and his 2 buffs to Winds of Magic, so it can be very useful. He'll be able to use that a lot, and again, just like Soul Stealer, it does a tremendous amount of damage, probably more than Soul Stealer, I think, but obviously he doesn't get health back from it. He's also got a Warrior Priest. Rarely see these guys, but the Warrior Priest is going to have some pretty great buffs for the front line. So you can see he's got the Grand Soulfire, which is actually going to do a lot of damage to things like the Witch Elves, which is rather nice. Also gives a lot of magic resistance, which is always fun. And also the Shield of Faith, just giving, you know, giving damage resistance to things like the Flagellants is very nice. Keeps them fighting a lot longer. And of course, we've got the Battle Prayer as well, which, sorry, the Hammer of Sigmar Battle Prayer, which can be plus 26 melee attack, which is, you know, that is not unsubstantial. That is going to hurt. And he's also going to increase everyone's weapon damage and imbue fire damage too. Although I'm not sure if there's any weak to fire in Dark Elf roster. I guess Hydras? Anyway. But yeah, that extra weapon damage will help too. So yeah, very scary stuff. And also in the back, some Halberdiers for some armor-piercing anti-large. I mean, it's definitely going to help out. And he's got 2 Reichsguard. Reichsguard are very good, very effective shot cav, but they're the same speed as Cold Ones, which isn't the fastest. So we'll see. So I'm going to speed things up. Actually, I'm going to speed things up a second time, because this is going to take a while, I think. So, yep, Sunmaker starting to fire in, doing a lot of damage to the Witch Elves. So that's nice. That's not bad at all. But, I mean, it chews through ammo so quickly. But, I mean, it is doing a lot of damage. It's hard to say whether this will be worthwhile. I mean, it's a fun unit at the very least. So, yeah, props for that. So, front lines are going to clash soon. This is very scary indeed. Give me another volley. There is. And how much does this one do? Okay, yeah, that is pretty formidable. That's definitely going to help. The Witch Elves are just going to cleave through a load of these infantry, so taking out a lot of them early is rather nice. So, handgunners, they're poised to start firing. But it looks like, nope, the Harpies haven't moved yet. The Harpies are waiting. The Harpies are still waiting. So, Malekith is charging in. Hellstorm Rocket Battery firing once more. But this unit seems to have been split up a lot, so he's not getting a good shot on these guys, because they're spread out. So the cluster is a bit too wide there. So, Flagellant's charging in, and, well, everything's charging in. Warrior Priest going to back up this side, and the Greatswords and the Witch Elves here. The Witch Elves are getting a lot of damage in, but I think the Greatsword should win out here fairly comfortably. Over here, though, stuff's starting to rampage, which is not ideal, not ideal. I think, well, you don't want the Rights Guard rampaging, do you? Oof, it's tough. So, some nice handgun fire on Snash's Harvesters. They're very weak to missile fire, so it's good to take them out early. Witch Elves, unfortunately, made it to the back line, so these Rights Guard have no choice but to charge. But they're going to take so much shock damage. They just don't have the armor to withstand a cavalry charge like that. So, there we go. They've broken immediately before the Rights Guard rampage, and that's exactly what you want to happen. So, the Great Swords and the Warrior Priest having a bit of trouble in here, but this is holding for now. So here, these Witch Elves are going to get finished off by the other Rights Guard, which is very clever for JanetOn to go for the Witch Elves like this, and it does free up his Great Swords, so that's definitely good. But RomulanDawg's wide formation is letting these guys get in. Really good Gaze of Malice, does a ton of damage to the handgunners. And he's just having to try and shut this stuff down best he can. The Harpies have been chased off by the Rights Guard, but these guys need to double back and stop these people. So, it's not looking great on this flank. Looking quite good here for the Dark Elves, though the Warrior Priest is definitely helping here, keeping this stuff going. I mean, look at that. Cold War Knights here have actually rampaged. And they're going to lose a lot of utility because of that. You really want to be able to keep moving them. So, that is scary. So over here, it looks like a Word of Pain has been used on the Rights Guard. Good to stop them from being able to get the damage in. Halberdiers are in here too, but the Cold War Knights are going to get a really good charge onto the Rights Guard by the looks of it. But JanetOn is trying to escape through the Halberdiers. The Halberdiers are going to do a fine job of dealing with the Cold War Knights, and it looks like he has escaped. So very clever move by both players there. Very nice indeed. Malekith, he's harassing the back line. He is taking some damage though. But that's fine, you know, he can weather a lot of it and get into these guys. Snash's Harvesters have got very damaged, but they're coming back in and they will make short work of the handgunners. So that's very scary. So this stuff, the Cold One Riders, very injured, only 5 of them left. The Rights Guard have actually rampaged. There are a few Witch Elves left in here, but they are getting finished off. So that's really good news for the Empire here. Rights Guard here, again, rampage. These Witch Elves just keep coming back and they just won't die. It's quite frustrating. And that does actually leave the Cold War Knights basically to just go about their business. They can't get chased by the cav. So that is really good. These guys can be able to get some good work done. And the back line is really compromised now. And Gelt is being butchered by Snash's Harvesters. This is not good for Gelt here. But looks like he's been thrown in trying to spare the handgunners. If the handgunners can turn around and get some shots into the Snash's Harvesters, Gelt can finish this very quickly. But Malekith is approaching. And these Halberdiers, they're trying to stop him. But they're not going to get in very quickly. Nice Gaze of Malice just to slow him down further. So Malekith can get Gelt, you know, completely unaided. And there goes Gelt. He is broken. He isn't necessarily out, though. But Snash's Harvesters will be able to chase him off the field once they're done with these handgunners. So here, still some great swords. The Warrior Priest, he needs to get doing something. He's just stood there. Come on. You need to get in here and help. So, still a load of anti-large and armor-piercing from the Cold War Knights, but they have rampaged, and the Halberdiers are going to butcher them now that they're stuck in this engagement, and it will once again free up the Rights Guard to attack other targets. Over here, it looks like these Corsairs have been rounded up by the Great Swords, but everything is so tattered at this point. These Great Swords, they're going to lose, but the Rights Guard are coming to the rescue. So, this is great. If he can knock out these Corsairs, he'll have more armor-piercing units to bring into the fray. So things are incredibly close right now. Incredibly so. Handgunners, they've returned. Still a ton of ammunition, but very few bodies. Not a lot of guns left there. Same with these. These guys all got just harassed so much from the start. They've barely been able to get a shot off. Ooh, there goes Gelt. I told you. Right, Sinesh's Harvesters, they can deal with Gelt. Harpies still chasing down some more handgunners. But this engagement isn't looking great for Malekith. But that Gaze of Malice just completely slaughtered the Halberdiers. That was a great move. So now it's just the Warrior Priest and some very haggard units left here. Luckily, backup is coming up again, thanks to the Rights Guard. These Rights Guard are really helping, and now the Shield of Faith, it should help. I mean, it's good against armor piercing, right? And Malekith does armor piercing, so it'll be good to negate that, definitely. So he's getting pretty overwhelmed, but reinforcements are coming. The Witch Elves are coming in. If they can rampage the Cav, John Torn won't be able to cycle charge. These Great Swords are hanging on by a thread. There are more units returning. These Harpies coming in, they could get a lot of work done. Got pretty high melee defense, and a nice rear charge could be enough to do a hell of a lot of damage to Malekith. You can see here the Chill Wind managed to finish off the Halberdiers. Sinesh's Harvesters are coming in, and this is looking a bit iffy. Word of Pain has been used on the Rights Guard. That's going to massively lower their combat effectiveness. Here, the Witch Elves, I mean, the Warrior Priest charging in here, it means he can't be used to help this engagement anymore, because he can't change his mind anymore. He's stuck in that combat until the Witch Elves are dealt with, or the Witch Elves win. Looks like they're going to get dealt with, though, although that is a lot of dead flagellants. Oh dear. So as you can see, the Rights Guard are really suffering another Word of Pain on the Rights Guard. And yeah, that's not looking good. That's not looking good. Malekith is very good at killing Rights Guard. And Balance of Power swings in RomulanDawg's favour, and that is army losses. Very tense match. Very close. Some great plays by both of them here. Being able to shut down the handgunners so well, I mean, they barely got any work done. They shot at Malekith a bit, but that's about it. Sinesh's Harvesters, I guess, were the biggest casualty. But honestly, Sinesh's Harvesters, they can take a lot of damage, as long as they're not wiped out completely. Those free spells of theirs just give them so much utility. That Word of Pain at the end, it made half of John Torn's army basically pointless. And when half your army can't hit anything, you're in a lot of trouble. So it's just incredible the utility you get out of the Sinesh's Harvesters. You know, Malekith fighting like an absolute champ. Gelt had to be thrown in to try and spare the handgunners, but Sinesh's Harvesters are just too quick. They were able just to fight whatever the heck they wanted. You know, nothing could escape and get into a comfortable place to start firing again because of it. You know, because of them. So absolutely crazy. Sunmaker probably not worthwhile, honestly. But I mean, it's John Torn. He loves his Empire game. He makes use out of everything. So it's great to see the Sunmaker. But yeah, I just don't. Yeah, it didn't work. That's a lot of expense. Just a few more spearmen or something. Heck, another unit of greatswords in there would have been huge. I know one of the Witch Elves got taken out pretty quickly, but even then, I'm not sure that was worthwhile. Rights Guard had to work overtime in this one. God, yeah, the Warrior Priest, he definitely helped that frontline engagement. You know, those buffs, they're pretty damn good. They didn't used to be AoE. It used to just affect him, and at that point it was rubbish, because his base stats were kind of crap because of it, so when he used the Battle Prez, he just became alright. But yeah, being able to buff everything else in the front line is fantastic. Very useful utility from the Warrior Priest there. But yeah, Gelt just couldn't survive all that nonsense. I mean, look at this army. It's crazy. It's just such damage-oriented. It's very difficult to weather that for the Empire. It means your back line is going to get caught up too quicker, because that front line, it's just going to crumble. It's just going to melt. So, very cool fight. Really enjoyed that. So, yeah, and again, I think this sums up RomulanDawg's sort of behavior in the game. It's very, very DPS oriented, but with a lot of shock damage as well. You know, good use of cavalry, trying to attack everything at once. It's very cool to see. So, guys, if you enjoyed this, please do comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Have a good day, guys.